October 24th, 1942, North Africa. You're trapped inside a burning tank. Your crew is dead. The temperature is 140 degrees. You're buried in sand, and nobody knows you're alive. How long could you survive? 24 hours. That's how long William Carter lasted. 24 hours inside a steel coffin in the middle of the Sahara Desert. No water, no food, no escape. Just darkness, heat, and the bodies of his friends. This is his story. And I'm warning you, it's not easy to hear, but it's important because it shows what the human body and mind can endure when there's no other choice. Let me tell you about the longest day of William Carter's life. Imagine being inside a steel box in 140-degree heat, with no way out, the walls closing in, the air running out, and the only sounds are your own breathing and the screams you're trying not to make. That's what William Carter experienced for 24 hours, and he lived to tell about it. October 1942, North Africa. The Battle of El Alamein was one of the most important battles of World War II. British and Commonwealth forces fighting Rommel's Afrika Korps, desert warfare, tank battles, brutal heat, sand everywhere. William Carter was a gunner in a British MN3 Grant tank, part of the 8th Army. He was 24 years old, from Manchester. Joined up in 1940, spent 2 years training, shipped to North Africa in early 1942. He'd been in the desert for 8 months. Learned to hate sand. Learned to hate heat. Learned to hate the cramped interior of a tank. But he was good at his job. Calm under pressure. Accurate with the main gun. His crew trusted him. The crew was 5 men. Commander, Lieutenant James Pritchard, 28. Driver, Corporal Tom Henderson, 22. Radio operator, Private Danny Walsh, 19. Loader, Private Michael Davies, 23. And William, the gunner. They'd been together for 6 months, fought in 3 major engagements. Survived, become brothers. Their tank's name was Yorkshire Rose, painted on the side. The commander's idea. He was from Yorkshire. Thought it would bring luck. October 24th started like any other day. Wake at 4 a.m. Check equipment. Eat whatever passed for breakfast. Load ammunition. Wait for orders. The orders came at 5:30 a.m. The offensive was starting. Montgomery's big push. Break through Rommel's lines. End the Afrika Korps. At 6 a.m. the artillery barrage began. Thousands of shells screaming across the desert. The ground shaking. The sky lit up orange. At 6:45 a.m., the tanks rolled forward. Hundreds of them. A steel wave across the sand. William was in his position. Gunner's seat, peering through the scope, looking for targets. The inside of the tank was already hot. Always hot, but bearable. For now, by 8 a.m., they were engaging enemy positions. German anti-tank guns, hidden in the sand, deadly accurate. William's crew worked like a machine. Spot target, load shell, fire, reload, fire again. Yorkshire Rose took 3 direct hits that morning. 2 bounced off the armor. 1 penetrated but didn't explode. Lucky. By noon, they destroyed 2 German anti-tank positions, damaged an enemy tank, pushed forward 2 kilometers. They were winning. And then at 12:47 p.m., everything went wrong. William saw it through his scope. A German 88 mm anti-tank gun, hidden behind a sand dune, aimed right at them. And he knew Muse in that split second. They were dead. There are sounds in war that you never forget. The whistle of incoming artillery, the crack of a bullet passing close, and the metallic clang of a shell hitting your tank. That sound means you're either about to die or you just survived. You won't know which for a few seconds. And those seconds last forever. William heard that sound at 12:47 p.m. Clang. The entire tank shook, like it had been hit by a giant hammer. William was thrown against the side of his compartment. His head cracked against metal. His vision blurred. He heard someone scream, couldn't tell who. Then the heat hit. Not the normal desert heat. This was different, intense, searing, like opening an oven door and sticking your face inside. Fire. The tank was on fire. Lieutenant Pritchard was shouting, "Bail out! Bail out!" Standard procedure. Tank gets hit. Crew evacuates immediately. Better to face enemy fire outside than burn alive inside. William reached for the hatch. His escape route. It was jammed. The shell hit had warped the metal. The hatch wouldn't open. He pulled harder. Nothing. Panic started creeping in. He could feel the heat increasing. Smell smoke. Hear the fire spreading. "Hatch is stuck," William yelled. "Break it. Use the emergency release." That was the commander. William found the release. Pulled. Nothing happened. The smoke was getting thicker. Black smoke. Toxic. He could barely breathe. "I can't. It's not working." Around him, he heard the other crew members evacuating. Hatches opening. Bodies moving. Voices getting distant. "Carter, move!" The commander again. "I'm trying." Then another sound. Another sound. Louder, closer. A second hit. This one catastrophic. The explosion was deafening. Even inside the tank, William felt the shock wave, felt metal tearing, felt something wet and hot splash across his face. He didn't know it was blood. Not yet. The tank lurched, tilted, started sliding. They'd been on a slight slope. The second hit had knocked them loose. The tank was rolling, sideways, down the dune. William grabbed anything he could. Held on. The world spinning. Metal groaning. Things breaking. The tank hit bottom. Slammed into sand. And then, silence. Not complete silence. William could hear his own breathing. Ragged. Fast. Panicked. He could hear fire. Crackling. Somewhere in the tank, but no voices. No movement. No crew. "Hello?" William called out. His voice hoarse from smoke. "Anyone there?" Nothing. "Lieutenant? Henderson? Anyone?" Still nothing. William tried to move. Couldn't. Something was pinning his legs. Debris, metal. He couldn't tell. He tried the hatch again. Still jammed. But now it was worse. The tank had rolled. Sand had piled up against it. Even if he got it open, he'd have to dig through sand. He tried the radio. Dead. Either destroyed in the hit or the antenna was damaged. He was trapped. Completely. In a destroyed tank. In the middle of a battle. In the Sahara Desert. And that's when William realized something that made his blood run cold. It wasn't smoke he was smelling anymore. It was flesh. Burning flesh. Somewhere in this tank, his friends were dead, and he was locked inside with them. Panic is a choice. That's what William's training instructor had told him. You can choose to panic, or you can choose to survive. But you can't do both. William chose to survive. First hour. Assessment. William forced himself to think clearly. Take stock. Figure out the situation. Status: trapped in gunner's compartment. Legs pinned, hatch jammed, radio dead. Temperature: already over 120 degrees, getting hotter, air, smoky, but breathable. For now, water. None. The crew's canteens were in the driver's compartment. Injuries. Head wound. Bleeding but not severe. Possible concussion. Burns on his hands. Nothing fatal. Yet, the crew William couldn't see them. But he could smell them, and that told him everything. They were dead. All 4 of them. He was alone. Outside, William could hear the battle continuing. Tank engines, gunfire, explosions, but distant. The fighting had moved on. Nobody knew he was here. William tried to free his legs. The debris pinning them was a piece of the tank's internal structure, bent metal. Maybe 50 pounds, too heavy to lift in this position. He tried to shift it, inch by inch. His hands were burned. Every movement hurt, but he kept trying. After 20 minutes, he got it moved enough to pull his legs free. Both legs were numb, circulation cut off. He massaged them, felt pins and needles as blood flow returned. Okay, legs free. That's progress. Second hour. Escape attempts. William tried every exit. The main turret hatch above him, jammed and buried in sand. The driver's hatch, jammed and partially melted shut from fire. The hull escape hatch below, crushed in the impact. There was no way out. He tried to dig through the sand, blocking the turret hatch, used his hands, got about 6 inches in before the sand collapsed back. It was like digging through water. Impossible. He tried to use tools, found a wrench, tried to pry open the driver's hatch. The metal wouldn't budge. After an hour of trying, William collapsed, exhausted, sweating, breathing hard. This was impossible. He wasn't getting out, not on his own. Third hour, reality sets in. The temperature inside the tank was now around 140 degrees, maybe higher. William couldn't tell anymore. Everything was hot. The air, the metal, his skin. He was sweating profusely, losing water fast. No way to replace it. His head hurt. The concussion was getting worse. Vision blurry. Thoughts scattered. And the smell of death was everywhere. Inescapable. William started to understand. He might die here, in this tank, alone, forgotten. The battle outside had gone quiet, either ended or moved too far away to hear. That meant nobody was looking for him. Not yet. Maybe not ever. British doctrine. Recover destroyed tanks after the battle, but that could be days from now. And by then, William pushed that thought away. Can't think like that. Have to stay focused, have to survive. But here's the thing about being trapped alone in darkness and heat with the dead. Your mind starts playing tricks. And William's mind was about to become his worst enemy. 4th through 8th hours. The hallucinations begin. At some point, William couldn't track time anymore. He started hearing voices. At first, he thought it was real. Someone outside, rescue. Hello? Can you hear me? I'm in here. No response. Then he heard it again. A voice. Familiar. Carter, you awake? It was Lieutenant Pritchard, the commander. William's heart jumped. Sir. Yes, I'm here. Are you alive? Course I'm alive. We all are. William felt relief wash over him. They survived. His crew was okay. Where are you? I can't see you. We're right here. Can't you see us? William looked around. Saw nothing but darkness and shapes. No, sir. Too dark. Use your eyes, Carter. William blinked. Tried to focus. And then he saw them. 4 shapes. Sitting in their positions. Like nothing had happened. Lieutenant Pritchard in the commander's seat. Henderson at the driver's position. Walsh at the radio. Davies loading position. All of them looking at him. See? Told you we were here. William felt confusion. Something was wrong. They looked off. Their faces were in shadow. Their movements too stiff. Are you all right, sir? All right. We're dead, Carter. Been dead for 4 hours. William's blood went cold. What? Dead. All of us. Except you. You're still alive. For now. No. No. You're not real. You're a hallucination. The commander laughed. Does it matter? Real or not? We're here. And you're not. You're just dying slower. Stop it. How long you think you'll last, Carter? Another hour? 2? The heat's killing you. The dehydration. The concussion. I said stop. You should have gotten out faster. Like we did. Now you're going to die in here. Alone. William covered his ears. Closed his eyes. You're not real. You're not real. When he opened his eyes, they were gone. But he could still hear them. Whispering. Laughing. Moving in the darkness. William knew it was the heat. The dehydration. The concussion. His brain was shutting down. Creating things that weren't there. But knowing that didn't make it less terrifying. And that's when William realized the worst part. He wasn't just fighting to survive physically. He was fighting to stay sane, and he was losing. Hours 9 through 16. Time stopped meaning anything. Was it day or night? William couldn't tell. The tank was dark, timeless. He drifted in and out of consciousness. Dreams mixed with reality, past mixed with present. Sometimes he was back in Manchester. His mother's kitchen, cold rain outside, a cup of tea in his hands. Safe. Then he'd snap awake. Back in the tank. Back in the heat. Back in hell. The thirst was the worst part. Worse than the heat. Worse than the pain. His throat felt like sandpaper. His tongue swollen. Lips cracked and bleeding. He found himself licking condensation off the metal walls. Tiny drops, barely wet. But it was something. He tried to urinate. Couldn't. His body had no water left to spare. His head pounded. The concussion getting worse. Or maybe dehydration. Or both. At some point, hour 12, 13, William started talking to himself. Out loud. Okay, William. You're okay. Just need to hold on. Someone will come. They'll come. British Army doesn't leave men behind. But, would they? This wasn't a normal battlefield. This was the desert. Tanks got lost in sandstorms. Buried, forgotten. Stop thinking like that. They'll come, just need to stay awake. Stay alert. But staying awake was getting harder. The heat made him drowsy. The darkness made him sleepy. His body wanted to shut down, give up. No, can't sleep. If I sleep, I die. That wasn't entirely true. But it felt true. Sleep felt like surrender. William pinched himself, slapped his face, sang songs, anything to stay awake. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. His voice cracked, barely a whisper. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. He couldn't remember the rest of the words. The hallucinations came back. Not his crew this time. Other things. His father, dead 5 years, standing in the corner, watching him. Dad, you were always weak, William. Knew you wouldn't make it. That's not true. Isn't it? Look at you. Trapped like a rat. Going to die like one too. Get out of my head. His father vanished. Then his brother appeared. David, younger than William, still in school when William joined up. You should have stayed home, Billy. Mum misses you. Dave, are you real? Does it matter? Am I dying? We're all dying, Billy. You're just doing it faster. William started crying. Couldn't help it. The tears felt good on his face. Wet, cool. But he had no water to spare for tears. His body was cannibalizing itself. Then, through the fog of delirium and hallucination, William heard something real, something that wasn't in his head. The sound of engines, tanks, coming closer. Hour 17 through 24, hope and horror. The sound was real. William was sure of it, or as sure as he could be in his state. Tank engines. Multiple. Getting closer. British or German. He couldn't tell. William found his voice. Barely a whisper. He pounded on the metal wall. Clang. Clang. Here. I'm in here. The sound came out as a croak. Nobody could hear him. Not through thick steel and sand. He kept pounding, using the wrench, making noise. Clang. 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 Please, someone. I'm alive. The engines stopped. Voices outside. Muffled. Distant. William pounded harder. Used all his remaining strength. Clang. 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 Then he heard it. A voice. Outside. Close. Hold on. Someone's in there. English. British accent. Rescue. William collapsed. Relief overwhelming him. Here. I'm here. We hear you. Stay calm. We're getting you out. The sound of digging. Shovels hitting sand. Metal scraping metal. William waited. Each minute feeling like an hour. But this time, the wait had purpose. Hope. The turret hatch moved. Just an inch. But it moved. Light streamed in. Bright. Blinding. Beautiful. Almost there. Hang on. More digging. More scraping. The hatch moved more. Then it opened. Fresh air rushed in. Cool morning air. William gasped. Breathed. Tasted freedom. A face appeared in the opening. British soldier. Shocked expression. Bloody hell. There's someone alive in there. Help me. William's voice barely audible. Hands reached in. Grabbed him. Pulled him up. Gentle but urgent. William emerged into daylight. The sun was rising. It was dawn. He'd been in there almost exactly 24 hours. He collapsed on the sand. Couldn't stand. Couldn't move. Just lay there. Breathing. Alive. Medics rushed over. Water. Someone put water to his lips. He drank. Too fast. Choked. Drank more. Easy, mate. Slow down. You're severely dehydrated. William didn't care. The water was the most beautiful thing he'd ever tasted. They loaded him onto a stretcher, started carrying him away from the tank. William looked back, saw Yorkshire Rose for the last time. Destroyed. Burned. Buried partially in sand. His tomb for 24 hours. His crew's grave forever. The others? William managed to ask. My crew? The medic's face said everything. I'm sorry. They didn't make it. William knew that, had known for 24 hours. But hearing it confirmed broke something inside him. He'd survived. They hadn't, and he'd never understand why. As they carried him away, William realized something. He'd survived the impossible, but survival came with a price, and he'd be paying it for the rest of his life. William Carter spent 3 weeks in a field hospital. Severe dehydration, second-degree burns, concussion, psychological trauma. He survived. Physically, mentally, that took longer. The nightmares started immediately. He'd dream of being back in the tank, trapped, the crew talking to him, his father telling him he was weak. He'd wake up screaming, drenched in sweat, panicking. The doctors called it shell shock, battle fatigue. We'd call it PTSD today. William was given a medical discharge, sent home to England, December 1942. He tried to adjust to civilian life. Couldn't. Everywhere felt too open, too bright. He'd find himself in closets, small spaces, where he felt safe. Claustrophobia. Ironically, the man who survived 24 hours in a steel coffin developed a fear of confined spaces. The mind is strange that way. He never told his family the full story, just that he'd been in a tank that was destroyed, that he'd survived, that his crew hadn't. He carried their names with him. Pritchard, Henderson, Walsh, Davies, brothers gone. William worked odd jobs after the war. Mechanic, warehouse worker, nothing that required him to be in small spaces. He married in 1947, had 2 children, tried to build a normal life. But every year on October 24th he'd disappear, go to his shed, lock the door, and sit in the dark for 24 hours. His wife learned not to ask. She knew he was going back, surviving it again. In 1978, William finally told his story. A local historian was documenting war veterans' experiences. William agreed to talk. He sat down, told the whole story. The battle, the hit, the 24 hours, the hallucinations, the rescue. The historian asked, "How did you survive?" William thought for a long moment, then answered, "I didn't have a choice. You survive or you die. And something in me refused to die, even when it would have been easier, even when I wanted to." Do you consider yourself a hero? William shook his head. Heroes are the ones who didn't make it out. I'm just a survivor. And there's a difference. William Carter died in 1995, age 77. In his sleep, peaceful. At his funeral, his children found something in his belongings. 4 letters, addressed to Pritchard, Henderson, Walsh, and Davies. Letters he'd written over the years, never sent, because there was nowhere to send them. Letters saying sorry. Sorry he survived when they didn't. Sorry he couldn't save them. Sorry he left them in that tank. His daughter read one aloud at the funeral, through tears. "I know it wasn't my fault. I know there was nothing I could do, but I'll carry you with me. Every day, every hour. You're not forgotten. You never will be. Your names are written in my heart. Pritchard, Henderson, Walsh, Davies, my brothers, my crew, rest well. I'll see you when my time comes." Yorkshire Rose still sits in the North African desert, or what's left of it. Buried in sand, forgotten by most, but not by everyone. In 2019, a team of British military historians located the wreck, excavated it, recovered the remains of William's crew. They were given proper burials, with full military honors, 77 years late, but honored, and they included William, his ashes, as he'd requested in his will. "Bury me with my crew." So now they're together, all five. The crew of Yorkshire Rose. William Carter's story teaches us something important. Survival isn't always victory. Sometimes survival is just survival. Messy, traumatic, filled with guilt. But it also teaches us about the human will, about the refusal to quit even when quitting makes sense. 24 hours in a steel tomb, in 140-degree heat, with no water, no hope, no reason to think rescue was coming. And William Carter survived, because something deep inside him said, "Not today. Not like this." That's not heroism. That's something deeper. That's the human instinct to live, no matter what. And sometimes, that's enough. If this story moved you the way it moved us, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Every single like tells YouTube to show this story to more people. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We are rescuing forgotten stories from dusty archives every single day. Stories about tankers who saved lives with innovation, real people, real heroism. Drop a comment right now and tell us where you are watching from. Are you watching from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia? Our community stretches across the entire world. You are not just a viewer. You are part of keeping these memories alive. Tell us your location. Tell us if someone in your family served. Just let us know you are here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for making sure William Carter and his crew does not disappear into silence. These men deserve to be remembered, and you are helping make that happen.